Hello and welcome to the Red Letter Media half in the bag, best of the worst commentary for the Alien series. We're watching Ripley Scott's original Alien film here.
Ian Holm is in this film.
Bilbo Baggins, yeah.
The elder Bilbo Baggins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. From those hit films, The Hobbits. And Jerry Goldsmith did the music. Jerry Goldsmith did the music for Star Trek films too. I recognize that. Now, Rich, in space, no one can hear you what?
Scream.
No, it's fart. Welcome to the commentary track. Please prepare yourself for jokes like that.
Please hit stop now. That would be an interesting concept. Like the aliens, we think they're animal-like. That's only because they've been completely uneducated. What if on their planet they actually are highly intelligent and have language and culture?
I would love to see an alien a ballerina show.
Oh, they love the high art.
An alien orchestra. A bunch of aliens in an elevator, and they keep banging their heads into each other. An office building.
I'll bring that up again once we're in the chamber.
Okay. I believe Ridley Scott explained the water dripping was like condensation, like this is some sort of cooling room or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Water in a ship, big ass ship.
Yeah.
Got to cool the engines, that sort of thing.
Well, how do you count the Alien versus Predator movies?
You just don't. I know earlier I was saying respect canon, but you can just skip those. Well, those take place, the second one I know, I haven't seen it yet, but I know it takes place on Earth. Well, they both take place on Earth, right?
What?
The Alien versus Predator movies. The first one was in like Antarctica or whatever.
Well, that's cheaper to film, so yes.
Yeah.
The Sex and the City films?
The Sex and the City 2, which also has a famous chestburster scene, oddly enough.
Yeah.
We're talking about Sex in the City too, and there's a chestburster scene going on.
During one of the most iconic scenes in movie history.
There's Rich as a baby.
That was 5 hours of makeup.
Oh, wow.
They had to make me look prettier.
And that orange juice did not get knocked over during that whole scene. I find that hard to believe.
Like, this space, they have magnetic glasses because you don't want your glass floating around in the zero gravity.
That's very true.
There's no zero gravity, there's artificial gravity.
Like, it might go out, it might break. And you don't want your glass floating around. Break, there'll be shards of glass everywhere after it bumps into the wall. It's very important to have magnetic glass.
I need a prequel to explain about the orange juice container. Where's Damon Lindelof? Write this up. The Blue Godmen placed the orange juice on the Nostromo.
Yeah.
You said the rest of the series is very flawed, Mike. What is flawed about Aliens? Because other than it being an entirely different type of movie. Because I'm a huge fan of Aliens, so I'm just curious what you think is flawed about it.
It's essentially a remake of Alien, I discovered.
Yeah?
Watching it, it's the exact same movie.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the series, too, is that each one is basically the same movie. It's
well, okay, there's...
But they're done in such different styles and different tones, and that's what's interesting to me. They're very director-driven.
They're sequels, okay? And sequels will have similarities, like a Jason sequel.
Well, those are all the same movie.
It's going to have a guy stabbing people. Like, there's going to be hallmarks in each one, but the structure and a lot of the things that happen in Aliens is exactly the same as this, except for being... Well, okay, because I wrote down some things.
Okay.
After watching Aliens, you got people waking up in their underwear in a cryo sleep. Mm-hmm. Okay. There is a breakfast scene where all the characters eat together at the beginning of the mission. You have a drop ship that lands on the same exact planet, LV-426. They send someone out to investigate the donut ship, the Prometheus ship, and I'm speaking of the Aliens special edition or the director's cut.
Yeah.
Where they send Newt's parents and the children out in a little truck to investigate the alien ship on Carter Burke's orders. Then, of course, one guy gets a face hugger, stuck to his face and returned to the base or wherever to infect everyone with aliens. Newt's father and John Hurt's character, right? There is a shifty company plant on a secret mission to retrieve an alien. In the first film, it's Ash. In the second film, it's Paul Reiser. Both movies have an android. Both have a scene where an android suspiciously dissects a facehugger. Bishop does it in Aliens, and Ash does it in this. In Aliens, it's more of a tease. Like, is Bishop a bad guy like Ash?
That movie ends up subverting what you expect the robot to be. But
it's a switcheroo.
Right.
But still, there's a company plant and a suspicious android.
Yeah.
Both androids get torn up, spew milk out. The first one introduces the motion tracking device. That Veronica Cartwright is using. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the motion trackers, they almost look identical, are used in that one. Ripley runs around with a flamethrower. And this is in the director's cut of Alien. She burns a person cocooned against a wall who's asking to be killed. That happens. A need to reach minimum safe distance before an explosion at a countdown. And then when you think everything's all safe, of course, the alien stows aboard.
Yes.
Which happens on Ripley's escape pod and on the mothership on the Sulaco with the alien queen. Then Ripley sneaks off into another room to secretly put on a suit. She puts on a spacesuit, and in this she puts on a power loader. Then the alien is blasted out of a airlock.
Yeah.
At the end, which leaves it flying into space.
With a bad special effect. Accompanied by a bad special effect both times.
And then, of course, they end in sleeping in a cryo chamber. Both movies, they're identical. Except for one has Space Marines in it.
Yeah.
And they're trapped on a planet.
Mm-hmm. Not a spaceship.
Not a spaceship, yeah. So, identical films. There's no silly-ass scenes in this.
Where Sigourney Weaver plays basketball.
Yes. The one thing that's like rolls your eyes stupid in Alien Resurrection is when, who's the guy with the big ugly face?
Oh, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman, thank you. I think it's Ron Perlman, like the aliens he's shooting at him and then he's all paranoid, then he turns and they rack focus to like a spider.
Yeah.
He shoots the spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dumb. It's dumb.
But that's again, like I was saying, like all these movies are basically the same movie, just told from a different director's point of view. In our Half of the Bag episode, we were not as harsh on Prometheus as a lot of other people were. And I remember at the time there were some comments that I was a Ridley Scott apologist or a Ridley Scott fanboy, which really isn't true. I like this movie. I'm trying to think if there's any other Ridley Scott movies that I really like. I don't care for Blade Runner. I don't care for the story at all.
Come on, everyone likes Gladiator.
I don't like Gladiator.
What?
I haven't seen it since the theater. I would have to rewatch it, but I remember not.
I think it's schlock that Joaquin Phoenix, the king of Rome or whatever, wants to fight him in the ring.
Oh yeah,
that's silly.
That's when the movie. That's what kills the movie for me. Actually, I love the movie up until that.
Oh yeah.
Because I know there was one crazy Roman emperor who actually did fight
really?
in the gladiatorial race, but not that character the way he was presented. He was an arrogant kind of jerk that wasn't like a combat guy. He wouldn't have done that.
No, he was a spineless kind of guy, but
backstabbing kind of.
Yeah, no, the Gladiators, it's a good film. I mean, you know
what?
There's some great fight sequences in
yes, everything. I love everything about it except for the end.
It kind of reminds me of like Braveheart, where there's some great fight sequences. There's like a schmaltzy love story.
Yeah.
Like the Gladiator's wife and child get killed, right?
Yeah.
And at the end he meets them in heaven.
Yeah.
And it's very Braveheart-ish, it's a good film.
Okay.
And I think I actually liked...
Why are you shouting,
I don't
Mike?
know, Ridley Scott's Robin Hood prequel?
Oh, the Russell Crowe movie?
Yeah, it wasn't bad!
Okay.
Because it had nothing to do with Robin Hood.
It was just a movie.
It was like a somewhat reality-based thing, like, because Robin Hood's based on some kind of real story.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's just like a war movie.
I don't know that the franchise needs her anymore.
Would
at this
you
point.
cast an all-new Ripley, played by Melissa McCarthy? or Kristen Wiig? How about Kristen Wiig?
You got to work Chris Pratt in there somehow. Can he?
No, you
can
make
he be...
separate. You make 2 Alien 5s, one with Melissa McCarthy and one with Chris Pratt. We're coming up on the scene where the alien tries to give Tom Skerritt a hug.
Oh God, yes.
We have to point that out. Now, Rich, I know you're a fan of Fight Club. Did you ever notice, because that's David Fincher, in one of the montages when they're in the video store and they're like erasing all the VHS tapes, that it's an entire end cap of Alien 3?
Oh, really?
Yeah. As far as I know, that's the only time he's ever commented on Alien 3. All this stuff feels so lived in.
Oh, here it is.
And real. He just wants a hug.
Boo! Then he grabs a porno magazine and tries to shove it down her throat. Which was not scripted.
That was an accident. Bilbo Baggins was just really pissed at Sigourney Weaver that day.
Yeah. Well, and Ridley Scott's like, just film it. Film it. It's great. We'll use it.
Oh, she's going into the Christmas light room.
I really want to shove this porno mag down your throat.
This looks like Nanu's living room. Like a Christmas nightmare. Rich's grandma's house. It was a Christmas nightmare. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Every day's Christmas.
No, it was only 364. For some reason, she turned them all off on Christmas.
Yeah.
That's not true. They were on Christmas.
Ash was a goddamn android, and it sounds like he says it off camera. It's clearly like 80 yard, and it's like that's the studio saying we have to explain what this milkman is.
Yeah.
They're not going to get that it's a robot.
I think he was just filled with cum.
He's not an android. He was just very gay. Very, very gay. Could you try and like lure the alien into an escape pod and then jettison it?
That sounds pretty dangerous.
That's what they do in Alien 3, Jim.
I wouldn't want to get anywhere near that thing. Well, yeah, but they have all these big corridors and stuff. This place is way more claustrophobic.
Just throw a bunch of meat in a escape pod and see what it does.
Yeah, I guess they don't know that it's not trying to just eat people, right?
Yeah.
Or just put Veronica Cartwright in there.
Yeah, fuck her.
Draw straws.
What happened to that cat in 3?
They don't even.
No,
what
she
happens to
leaves
that
it on
cat in
Earth.
2? She just leaves it on Earth. Okay.
She says, and you shithead, you're staying here.
That's okay. Yeah.
So the cat's the only one who lives. Cat and what happened in Prometheus? I don't even remember.
Except for Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Oh yeah,
We still have not seen that one.
that's going to be our next commentary track.
Is it?
Yeah, Alien. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
See, now he's waking up. He's like, what the fuck?
Who's putting all this smoke in my face? I wish my head wasn't so big. Hit easier.
We should have done this whole commentary. It was just you speaking for the alien. It's nuts.
It's just a misunderstood creature.
Glad you hung all these chains here. It was easy for me to hide up on them.
I just want a hug. Give me a hug.
I'm scared. It's me. You know what always bugged me about Aliens is that the whole time there's two things.
Yeah.
The whole time she's constantly going, Newt, close your eyes. Newt, do this. Except for the end when she opens the fucking cargo bay door and doesn't bother to. Newt, hang on to something. She's just like, she'll figure it out after a couple seconds.
It'd be funny if Newt went like flying past her.
And then in order to close the outer hatch door, she has to climb up to the top instead of using the same thing she fucking opened it with.
Like Ripley's looking out the airlock and she sees like Newt flying towards the Queen and the Queen grabs Newt and rips Newt in half.
Exactly like it ripped, what's his face in that? Bishop, yeah.
Bishop flies past her too.
Why'd you open the fucking door?
And so does Hicks.
It's just...
He's still sleeping.